Hello and welcome to another patch notes video with me, Meoni, this time providing a concise summary of patch 4.5 and all it contains from the patch notes that went live today, the 7th of January. So the content that comes in 4.5 that you can play on patch day includes the newest chapter in the main scenario storyline. This continues where 4.4 storyline left off, with the quest to continue the storyline being titled Soul Searching. You'll be able to go to the Rising Stones in Mordona to pick this quest up, which will ultimately give you access to the new dungeon, Gimlet Dark, which has a 360 item level restriction. The Four Lord storyline gets its continuation with the quest Surpassing the Samurai being available in Risen Temple in the Ruby Sea, which unlocks the Reef of Snakes normal mode 8-player trial. Completion of which will allow you to unlock the extreme version of the same trial at the Wandering Minstrel in Kagane. The Reef of Snakes normal requires 365 item level average, and the extreme needs 380 item level minimum. The Return to Ivalice raid gets its final chapter, the Orbon Monastery, which you can pick up the continuation quest from the NPC Lena Murila in Kagane at the Prima Vista airship. The new side story quest to unlock the final dog Kamoi mount for collecting all of the trial Kamoi mounts thus far can now be obtained in Kagane at the News Hawker NPC, but obviously you won't see this unless you have all of the Kamoi mounts, including the new one from the Reef of Snakes Extreme Trial. The new Custom Deliveries client NPC is located in Idleshire. The quest Between a Rock and the Hard Place will be available to Disciple of Hand and Land classes of level 66 or above. The quest then allows you to turn in items in part of that storyline to obtain gathering and crafting scripts every week, much like the ones already in the game, eventually allowing you to customize the NPC's clothing himself. 1 week later than this patch, i.e. the 15th of January, sees the introduction of Blue Mage and the associated content around that new limited job role, including new quests such as Out of the Blue, which kicks the whole thing off. You'll be able to unlock this Blue Mage quest at an NPC, the Zealous Yellowjack, at Limsa Lower Decks next week. The rewards for the following main scenario quests will now include 300 Grand Company seals. That will include Woods Will Be Done, Till Sea Swallows All, and for Coin and Country. They say this reward has been added so that players may more readily purchase the Chocobo insurance and get their first mount, which ultimately you would be probably short on seals ordinarily, which is another good quality of life addition for new players. Adventurer Squadrons get 2 new dungeons to do in command missions. You can now take your AI through Fractal Continuum Normal and Theros Sirius Hard Mode. New crafted items can be obtained in the company workshops, further allowing you to upgrade your submarines. With this comes new dive destinations and of course rewards, only obtainable from these underwater voyages, with the maximum rank of a submersible now going up to rank 50 from 40. Housing changes include new additions from the Furnishing Design Contest entries. They show images here of the fantastic looking lamp, art set, stove, herb rack, the fat cat couch, tree stump storage shelves, and outdoor garden vegetable patch. In addition to the contest entries, they also preview some of the new items they themselves designed, including what looks like a floating set of platforms and stairs, which might ultimately be the answer to everyone's hopes and dreams, so you don't have to potentially glitch platforms to get the same result of these lofts, which is pretty cool. Further changes include the limit on the number of interactive furniture items that can be displayed has been completely removed, and from patch 4.5 onwards all such items will be displayed regardless of how many are placed. However, the closest 40 items will be interactable with, and you'll need to get closer to the others to interact with them. Lalafell and Rogadin mannequins have finally been added to the game, and new estate tags for RP have been made available for your housing estate, such as labeling your house as a cafe, a florist, a photo studio, library, or a haunted house. New orchestra roles have also been added, and players are now allowed to use return and teleport actions from inside in-rooms. Thank goodness for that. New fish have obviously been made available for display in your fish tank, as well as from those gathering locations, as well as new tank trimmings like this beautiful moonlit tree theme. And the final housing addition is the Lily of the Valley Pips. These are new displayable flowers for your flower beds indoors, obtainable from material suppliers around the world. Next up, the Gold Saucer's seen a few additions, including Doman Mahjong, which is finally here. You can pick up the new quest, Every Little Thing She Does is Mahjong, inside the Gold Saucer at the NPC Luena at X4.8 Y6.1. This new minigame will allow you to challenge NPCs of varying difficulties, much like with Triple Triad. There are Novice, Intermediate and Advanced Mahjong tables, along with a new Duty Finder queuing button to queue for Ranked, Advanced and Kuitan Enabled and Kuitan Disabled 4-player Mahjong player matches. These various rules, including explanations on Kuitan rules, are told in-game and also on their new Lodestone page apparently. We'll touch further on Mahjong when we preview it in a video tomorrow. The new Gate Edition, Air Force One, basically a shooter on roller coaster rails, got added and is located at the round square in the Gold Saucer at a scheduled time at the Sabatenda NPC at X4.9 4.8Y. For a perfect score, you'll be able to get 4k MGP for this gate, and the lowest possible score, a C rating, is 100 MGP rewarded. Other gates have been changed. Every hour now is Cliffhanger, the new Air Force One, and Leap of Faith. Every 20 minutes past an hour is Any Way the Wind Blows, Air Force One and Leap of Faith, and every 40 minutes past the hour is Any Way the Wind Blows, Skin Change We Can Believe In, and Leap of Faith. Cliffhanger and Skin Change have had their MGP reward also boosted to 3000 MGP instead of 2k, which is nice. Of course, with the new Gold Saucer games comes new ways to actually spend this MGP, and the Gold Saucer mount is obtainable. They don't specify here how much this will cost, but they confirmed in the previous live letter that this will be much more than the Fenrir amount, so we can easily say over 1 million MGP. New Triple Triad cards are in, including Golden Namazu card, Tataru, Alice and Alphino, Seryu the Reef of Snakes boss, and Alpha the Chocobo. And now on to miscellaneous changes in this patch. A new challenge log objective has been added to the game, notably for Mahjong, this Kawami challenge log, which will reward you 5k MGP for participating in 2 Doman Mahjong player battle matches of the week. In addition to this, the challenge log itself actually got an overhaul with a new drop-down display, allowing you to display all of the ones you've yet to complete this week and the ones you've already completed. There are actually other log objectives added, but they didn't list them here for potential spoiler reasons or something. They didn't go into details. Wondrous Tales now has new rewards from exchanging silver and gold commendation certificates, and Wondrous Tales itself will now include Omega Alphascape as an objective. A new emote is in, which they show a picture of, which is sort of like a teaching emote where you point and have your other hand on your hip, and some emotes have been changed so that certain emotes now cause your character to face a target, provided the target is in line of sight, which you can see here. This list is quite extensive, including things like Furious, Mega Flare emote, Throw and Backflip. New hairstyles are in. These are the Ramza and Alma hairstyles. There's a good chance they might be from the Alliance raid in some way, so obviously it could be PvP or Gold Saucer related, which I'm sure a lot of people will expect at this point. On the battle system changes area, they again reiterate that Blue Mage is out on the 15th of January next week, and they look at the Blue Mage quest and restrictions, including then as a summary that Blue Mages start at level 1 and the max cap in 4.5 will be level 50 for this limited job. They will be able to participate in duties with other players in pre-formed or undersized parties, however the following duties are inaccessible. All duty roulettes, the Forbidden Land of Eureka and Diadem where you cannot switch the class inside either, squadron missions, deep dungeons, PvP including duels, Stone Sky Sea and Hall of the Novice. All of those will not be available for queue. Blue Mages gain more experience from open world areas than other jobs, yet no bonuses are granted from Fates or Guild Leave quests, only monster killing itself. Blue Mages cannot be used to progress through the main scenario storyline apparently, and nor can your retainers actually switch to Blue Mages. You learn spells through chance when fighting monsters. Seeing an ability will sometimes allow you to learn it, but this doesn't necessarily mean being hit by it, but seeing it cast on you or with you at the top of that enmity list on the monster will give you a chance to learn it. There's a spell book for all 49 spells included in 4.5 and an action bar where you choose 24 to choose active at any one time. The Masked Carnival will be available to Blue Mage only with next week's update and will allow you to fight through 25 total stages of monster battling. The carnival itself will be unlockable in Uldar Steppes of Thal with the Celestium Attendant NPC. You'll have weekly targets with 3 difficulties, much like challenge logs. There'll be a white, blue and gold star. Finishing each goal for that week gives you rewards, such as here in this screenshot. A white star will reward you with 5k gil, 150 hunt seals and 120 poetics, with the other challenges giving better rewards and so on. Outside of Blue Mage, some normal job changes have been implemented in this patch, and a majority of these are potency increases. With Monks, True Strike has had a potency buff to 160 from 140, Snap Punch is now 150 from 130 potency, Twin Snakes now does 110 instead of 100 potency, Demolish is 50 from 30, Dragon Kick is 120 from 100, and Fists of Fire now has its damage increased to 6% from 5%. White Mages, Cure, Medica, Cure 2, Cure 3, Medica 2, Benediction and Tetra have all had their enmity reduced, with Assize having its recast time reduced from 60 to 40 seconds, its damage potency increased to 400 from 300, and its healing potency also 300 to 400. And finally, Planetary Indulgence now has its duration increased to 30 seconds from 10 seconds, and its enmity was reduced as well. Finally, Machinist has 30 from 25 potency upgrades on Split, Slug Spread, Hot and Clean Shot, with Gorse Round potency now at 210 from 200, Ricochet at 320 from 300, and Cooldown, Heated Split Shot, Heated Slug Shot and Heated Clean Shot now at 30 potency from 25 on this ammunition effect. The final change to job adjustments is to a roll action, and it is True North. It now has a 30-second recast time down from 150 seconds, which is going to be pretty huge in itself for melee. Other changes include the display of flying text when your pets attack is now going to appear in the same manner as flying text for your player actions on mobs. Apparently, enemy placement is now different in Western, Southern and Northern Thanalan, with Middle Lenosha and Mordona also having a change up of where mobs are located. The Echo buff has been added to Hell's Keer and Hell's Keer Extreme, and the weekly reward lockout for Omega Alphascape has been completely removed. The number of Alphascape crystalloids for military-grade tomestones is now 4 from 7. The drop rate on the Lunar Kamoi Fife has been increased from Tsukiyomi Extreme, and now you can turn in 99 totems for the mount outright in Ralga's Reach. The Euphonius Kamui Fife in Hell's Keer also got a drop rate increase as well. The minions that you get from the Weeping City of Mark and Dunscape will now appear in boss room treasure chests, and here's a big one: Eureka changes. There's now an offensive and defensive button on the Magia board. Pressing this button or typing Magia attack or Magia defense will automatically change the board to exploit either the weakness of the target you have or the thing you need to defend against automatically. Pagos itself has been heavily nerfed, much to people's happiness. Monster requirements to spawn notorious monsters have been massively decreased, and the number of Pagos crystals received for defeating them is also increased. The elemental level required to access the Geothermal Studies Aetheryte has been reduced from 30 to 23, and Gravitational Studies Aetheryte is level 25 now instead of 32. Pyros got some changes. The number of enemies needed to spawn NMs here has also been decreased, and the number of Pyros crystals received also got buffed as well, with Logos actions themselves getting buffs across the board. Mostly Logos actions got potency buffs, or the duration of positive buffs like Bravery was drastically increased. And now onto general changes. Recast timers on abilities will now reset when entering dungeons, trials and raids. The Duty Roulette Expert now has the Burn, Gimlet Dark and St. Mosiani's Hard, with Expert Roulette now needing 360 item level average to get in. The Trial Roulette now has Reef of Snakes inside of it. The Mentor Roulette requires Gimlet Dark, Reef of Snakes and Auburn Monastery completions and a 365 item level average, and items to strengthen the Allegan Tombstone of Genesis gear are exchanged for from Rabanastan, Guggen and Auburn coins and a Peerless Clan Mark log. log. There are various PvP changes as well, which I'll deliberately miss out in this video. And now onto items. The new dungeon gear is shown here, and they also say they'll list all of the items added at a later date. This new costume that Rowena will no doubt be sporting has also been added. This is a crafting recipe, and you can actually be quite certain that the materials will come from the Lost Canals and Hidden Canals, as they also had new items added to their reward tables as well. You can now manually adjust the glasses on the cash shop Mungaic attire with the manually adjust visor option or the visor emote. They also say a new item got added to purchase from the achievement certificates to check it out at Jonathan in Old Gridania, and you can also exchange poetics into grade 6 materia for war and magic jobs in Idleshire. They doubled the items made instead of one when you synthesize Orunday lumber, Gygusa ingots, Procoptodon leather and Stardust cotton cloth, and the special recipes are much easier to find in your crafting log with a new drop-down menu for ease of use. There are new mounts added to the game as you would expect, and in addition to the new ones, the old horse mounts from the old trials like Gullifax etc. can now fly, and so can the direwolf and unicorn mounts, which is absolutely awesome. A lot of people will love this, and a new barding makes its debut made from the Reef of Snakes materials got added, and it looks awesome as well. They also say new minions were added to this patch, including the one they show here, this Otter Otter on vacation, that I definitely need in my life. Tons of new achievements were added, including those for I Made That crafters up to number 6 now, as well as Tankless Job and Tank You achievements can also be earned from the Reef of Snakes Extreme and Gimlet Dark and Orbon Monastery respectively. Tons of preparation is taking place behind the scenes to get the game ready for World Visit, and such worlds have now been renamed to home worlds in various UI elements, and plenty of other text changes got added, including that now to contact people on other servers you would need to @ the home world name in your message. For example, /tell leasehext @behemoth hello, and you will also need to use these subcommands to blacklist or friend list someone, but you can finally add people to a group from your friend list if they're on another server, which is a huge change. In addition to this, you can also now see the online status of 3 company members whilst you're inside a duty, another requested feature. G-Pose got its changes, including the use of it whilst transformed into sort of like a frog or other transform status in role-playing situations where you control, say, Alphino or other NPCs in story missions, when you're knocked out, or when you're transporting. You can even use G-Pose with squadron members now, and you can adjust the depth of field with a new slider. You can initiate looped emotes from inside G-Pose feature, meaning you don't actually need to exit the feature to change poses. You will have to agree to a checkbox when leaving G-Pose to reduce the chance of doing it accidentally, and you can now toggle battle effects on or off with this new button. You can also add a wet attire option in the effect frame menu to make people look obviously, well, wet, and you have current time listed in G-Pose menu, and a new button to open up the emote list as well. You can now record Reef of Snakes Normal and Extreme, Alphascape 4 and Alphascape Savage 4 with the Duty Recorder function. Another neat change to mounts includes a new toggle to allow you to summon from favorite mounts only on mount roulette buttons, and a new display on the mount information itself shows if it's a singular or multiple person mount immediately. You can also toggle the minion roulette button to summon from only favorite minions as well. The UI itself can now be made more or less transparent in chosen elements with the new opacity settings on UI configuration. The new priority on displaying character models will now always default to showing party members first, and closer objects in areas where lots of people show up, such as notorious monsters for example, where the game will limit visibility over a certain threshold of people on screen to reduce lag. There are lots of smaller changes, dictionary additions, auto-translation terms, new music obviously, and a lot of the usual back of the scenes stuff. But the last real thing to mention from these patch notes is now that the PS4 version has the server backup feature in beta, so you can download and upload your user interface between PC and PS4, which should hype a few people. And that about wraps up the patch notes for 4.5. There's lots of stuff to keep us busy on patch day, and a whole lot of sub patches planned for the coming weeks and indeed months. Flying old trial mounts. That certainly made my day. What did you like or wish they addressed in these patch notes that they perhaps didn't? Thank you kindly for watching, and I'll see you all next time.